of the American voters believed that Barack Obama was not born in the United States and is not an American citizen. And quite a large part of the Republican Party actually believed that. So there has been this relentless campaign against the sitting black president. Because I'm absolutely sure that one of the roots of this whole campaign, not a real American citizen, a Muslim and so forth and so on, has to do with racism. With the shock that a black man is actually in the White House, which is to a large group of white, conservative, very, very conservative Americans, an abomination, a real abomination. Who do we have to thank for Barack Obama, by the way? The idiot that was in the White House before him. Because without George Bush, I think Obama wouldn't have become president of the United States. So, in a sense, Bush Jr. did one thing good in his life. He turned out such a terrible president that 53% of the Americans was actually willing to vote for Barack Obama in November 2008. Maybe you have asked yourself in November 2010, how is it possible that Barack Obama had quite a nice election win in November 2008, and that now suddenly the Republicans gave this shellacking to the sitting president, as Obama himself described what had happened. That is because the voters that turn up in presidential years are quite different from the voters that turn up in the years when there is no presidential election. So in that sense, of course, the election now in the coming November will be different from the election in November 2010. Different in the sense that much more minority voters, much more young voters will turn up, if they turn up. But not only is Barack Obama extremely unpopular with conservative Americans, that's a thing to be expected. In a sense, not a ridiculous Republican propaganda, of course, but it is to be expected that they don't like the black president. The strange thing is that for a lot of Obama supporters, Obama is also not very popular at all. And what's that? That is this enormous disappointment about Barack Obama. Because how many people have believed that he was really the savior, the Messiah? That was what the general feeling in these first weeks after his election. Change we can believe in. You will probably remember that. Probably he believed it himself, that he could change the American political system. And he couldn't. We can only conclude one in maybe his most important political idea, that he could reform the dysfunctional American political system. He has failed. That is certainly true. How come he failed? What's the reason that he failed? That's the other party. Because if you have two parties, and one of the parties consists of total fundamentalist idiots, then of course it's very difficult to run a normal political system. And if you look at what happened after the Republican win in November 2010, you will see that nothing actually has happened politically in the last 2 years, because the Republicans have blocked absolutely everything. Actually, the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, said as soon as Obama was elected, we have only one goal, and that is to defeat Barack Obama. And our goal is not to do the best thing for the United States. Our goal is not to seek compromises for the great political problems and the great economic problems that America has to fight now. His only goal was to defeat Barack Obama. That's not a loyal opposition, that is a deranged opposition. And the question is, of course, why is there a deranged opposition? But let's first look at what Obama has done in the last 3 years. Yeah, about the last 3 years. Is he going to do a lot in the next few months? No, nothing is going to happen. You're going to hear propaganda from the president, and we are going to hear propaganda from the Republicans, but nothing is going to happen. I even have quite a pessimistic message. If he is elected for a second term, if you look at the second terms of successful presidents, you will in general see that the second terms don't produce anything at all. That maybe it would be much better for the whole political system to extend the presidency from 4 years to 6 years and 1 term. That would be much more practical maybe than the present system. The election after 1 term is a kind of scorecard for the president. Did he well, then he's re-elected. Did he do well, then he's not re-elected. Not that many presidents have not been re-elected for a second term. That's only Herbert Hoover, and that is Taft, Hoover, and Jimmy Carter. Is that true? Anybody knows better? You're right, yeah, the first Bush, yeah. Isn't that strange? He didn't do that bad, but he was beaten by Clinton, yeah. So that also makes the chance rather small that Obama will be beaten in November. Then, of course, the disappointment. I think that the people who have been strongly disappointed in Barack Obama are people who don't think about politics in the right way. In a way, they don't understand politics at all. They don't understand American politics, and they have never understood anything about the present-day Republican Party. Because anybody who knew anything about the American political system must have known that Obama would have a very troublesome first term as president, when we look at the Republican Party in its present incarnation. And nobody should expect too much from any political system. The strange thing is that we live in secularized cultures, and we are always waiting for the Messiah, for somebody who is going to show us where we have to go, how we can escape from all the troubles that our lives and societies and so on are in. Look at the Netherlands. We've had a whole series of messiahs over the last 10 years. Pim Fortuyn, the bold messiah. Geert Wilders, the blonde messiah. Job Cohen, the Jewish messiah. That's a really serious messiah. But only for a few weeks. And for quite a lot of people have expected from these so-called messiahs the right word, the way to go. What people actually expect from politicians is what they have in their car nowadays, a tom-tom system. Where this woman's voice says, go to the left, next two roads go to the right, and so forth and so on. That's what we really want. Politics is quite a dirty business, but it has to be done. And because it's all about power and influence and things like that, it will be a dirty business also in the future. Should you expect or wait for the Messiah? Don't do it. Don't do it. Politics is not there to make you happy. Politics is at best a system to create conditions in which you yourself can decide to become happy. But it's not going to make you happy.